What a welcome to the set right now. Man, businessman, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, author, all around good guy, and also my neighbor, Jaebadiah Gardner, CEO of Gardner Global. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, Big O.
Yeah, no, man, welcome to the Morning Update Show.
This is lit. This is lit.
Yeah, and you've automatically gained some extra points because you're here in your Sonics jacket.
Extra points, man. This is 25 years in the town.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the thoughtfulness, though, of coming on the set wearing a Sonics jacket.
Well, I mean, there's always some messages and some subtlety out here, man. Bring back the Sonics, man. Stop playing.
All right. So before we jump into it, like we know you well, but why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, man, who you are and what Gardner Global is all about?
Indeed. My name is Jaebadiah Gardner, CEO of Gardner Global. We're a privately held holding company here in Seattle, Washington. Headquartered in Post Alley. If you've ever been to our office, we call it the AKA the Bat Cave, AKA the HQ. We're specialized in real estate development, multifamily housing, affordable housing, workforce housing, market rate housing here in the city of Seattle.
You build stuff.
We create stuff.
That's even better. That's even better. We've been talking about you for a while here on the Morning Update Show. Because one of the projects that you have near and dear to us in the Central District is right there on 23rd and Union, right?
Yes, sir. Literally on 23rd and Union.
And why don't you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, that's an exciting situation, man. I just want to shout out Bishop Reverend Witherspoon for giving us the opportunity to step in and acquire the site that most folks know as the Mount Calvary Christian Center. He had a lot of opportunity to sell that property to anybody he wanted to in the city of Seattle. A lot of folks had way more deeper pockets than Gardner Global, and he gave us the opportunity. And so I just wanted to make sure we did right by our word, and did right by the community, step up, raise the financing, and get the deal done. And so we were able to close on the church in Mount Calvary. So there's a lot of confusion out there. So Gardner Global now owns Mount Calvary Christian Center, the parking lot, the church, and we just recently closed on the teen center, the Joshua Center across the street, as well as the adjacent property next door to the Joshua Center.
So you buying the block.
Literally. I mean, some talk about it. We're really about it.
And now, okay, so you got the land. What can people expect for you guys to develop there in the coming years?
Yeah, you know what? I can't wait. This is like there's levels to this, and I'm really excited about the opportunity to give folks the chance to create and design what they want to see, right? Like Gardner Global has a vision, Jaebadiah has a vision, but it's really the collective vision that I'm really shooting after. And so what the building looks like, how the building feels, how it interacts with the community is really something that I'm hoping I tap in a few key people in the community to help us realize that vision. So we're looking at on the Mount Calvary site, the actual church site, we're looking at a 7-story building. We're looking at a minimum 196 units, at maximum 284, studios, 1 bedrooms, affordable. Like I want to say 80% of the units going to be affordable, and everyone's like, well, what's affordable, man? If you can cough up $1,500 to $1,800 a month for rent, and the low is $1,200, we're gonna have some units for you. So, I heard Mike earlier saying, we done lost the CD. The CD is black and it's back because there's a black owner who bought the
Hello. Hey, Jaebadiah is in the building, and he brought his swag with him too, and it's very welcome here. And that was a big deal. What I saw was like at least one part of it over $40 million.
Well, that's going to be the total cost of the project, right? So, last year in 2021, 2020 and 2021 was tumultuous years for everybody, right? COVID, there's 17 variants running around. It's tough for businesses. We fought through it and collaborated with amazing individuals in the city. Tapped into some folks who've been in the city for 6-7 generations, family offices who really support the vision, a lot of mission alignment, and stepped up and supported us, right? Like I don't come from a background of wealth. I don't come from a background of trust funds. I don't come from a background of just ready, accessible resources to just throw at these sites so I can just purchase. I've been in business for 13 years. It'll be 13 years in March. So a lot of confusions around like, oh, well, Jay just came from, wherever. Well, really, like, this is out the mud. This is out the mud.
It's amazing because, I kind of get that too. And this is man, this is 20 years in the media business all over the world. It's funny because people are like, man, Omari is overnight success.
There's no such thing, you know what I'm saying? Because cats don't see the grind. They don't see the hustle, the persistence. They don't see the tears. They don't see the lost family members. They don't see the lost friends. They don't see the side swipes and the haters. They don't see any of that, right? Because like I'm about being positive and keeping it uplifting, especially for our people and our culture. So I don't want to share any negativity. You know what I'm saying? I want to share the wins that we got because it's a collective win. Just because Jaebadiah and Gardner Global and partners were able to acquire some real estate on 23rd and Union, which is an historic site in this city, that's a win for all of us, yo.
I was gonna say, well, actually a few things. One, man, it's great to see some black folk owning that property over there. And I'm really glad that, in a sense, it stayed in the community, and I think what's also good too, what intrigued me about you, why I really started following you, was that you're showing that there's a few different ways to achieve the same goal, right? Because there's a way that we're all very familiar with. The Office of Housing in the city of Seattle over the last few years, and the housing levy, they've put an incredible amount of money into housing and affordable housing, and that's been a route that's worked. We see a lot of buildings around the city that are coming up. They've partnered with different groups, First AME, Mount Zion, Africatown Community Land Trust, Ethiopian Community Center, and on and on. But there's also the private route.
Yeah, there is a private route. You know, man, without saying too much, I just know where our strengths are and I play to our strengths, right? And really it's all about relationship building. And when you play the private route, man, it's more than just business, it's more than just dollars and cents. It's about like your heart. And so for people who have had wealth for 5, 6, 7, 10 generations on, like they're not looking for the here today, gone tomorrow folks. They're looking for folks who are going to be here for the long term. You know what I'm saying? And they know that. They can smell that in your heart and in your hustle. And so you just got to be true to yourself. You got to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it sounds so cliche, but like I rock with that so toughly because if I don't believe in myself, who else will? You know what I mean? And so I literally believed in myself so much that I bought $8 million of real estate just in 2021. And we got $2.5 million in real estate to purchase this year. You know what I mean? And that just doesn't happen just out of like, just because, and so, for me, working in the private space, is something that you don't see a lot of black folks in. And I'm trying to just open that door. I'm just taking a machete to the high grass and trying to pave a path, man. So the next person who comes after us, they don't have to worry about doing all that work.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I tell people all the time too. I'm definitely not the competition. I'm just somebody showing you it could be done. You know what I'm saying? You got to be aiming even higher than me. Hopefully you are. You know what I'm saying? Um, when you talk about showing people the way and everything else, you're an author. You've written this book. You do motivational speaking. You're always on this hashtag BIY, believe in yourself. Why did you feel the need to write a book?
Honestly, I tell folks all the time, when I decided to write the book. Well, let me back up. People may not know that like I was an English major at the University of Washington. Shout out Huskies, dubs up all day. Uh, and so I love to read and write, and that's kind of how a little bit of the creative in me comes out. And it just decided to come out a couple years ago, and I wrote the book. It's a pretty selfish project, man. I wanted to create a roadmap for myself, and document some of the pains and some of the war stories I've been through. So that way, when times get tough, I can look back in my own book or read my own stories and be like, damn, I made it through that. Like I came up out that. And so I'm just, I just put those words to paper, and hopefully that inspires somebody else who's been through some really traumatic issues. You know what I'm saying? And there's it's we don't have an uncommon story being young, being black males in society. We come through a lot. We have to go through a lot. And so I just wanted to write a little bit of my story, control my narrative, because there's so many narratives out there about who I am and what I do. And they don't know, y'all, folks don't know me. So I wanted to control it a little bit and show folks really what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And share that because I feel like there's power in sharing messages with folks, on that griot tip.
Right. And what's the name of the book where people can find it?
Yeah, the name of the book is Believe in Yourself, Business Essentials for the Millennial Entrepreneur. It's been out 2 years now. I can't believe that. I published actually during COVID, March 2020. And you can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Man, you can find it on any website. I was out in Paris speaking at a conference, and somebody tried to check me and go, "Oh, you wrote a book? Let me see if I can find it." Pulled up their version of Amazon on the French website, like in franc or something. Man, they pulled up, popped up. I popped up. I said, "What? Let's go." By the way, self-published. I didn't go through a big publishing company to market me and put me in airports. Did none of that. I can't write a book about entrepreneurship and not be an entrepreneur about it.
Look at him. He had to throw it in there too. He ain't say I was in Albuquerque. He said I was in Paris. I ain't mad at you, brother. Man, I got some more stuff for you. A few more questions here. Is when we talk about anytime there's a crisis, there's always opportunity, and who knows over in real estate and development. I mean, clearly COVID created a crisis across America. What opportunities have you found, or what opportunities are generally out there?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. Like if you keep it positive, you will definitely find the opportunity in a crisis. And COVID was obviously a unique one for every single person in this on this globe. And I had to sit and assess, like what that opportunity was, And so when you're looking at something that could potentially swipe away everything you work for, my tactic and approach is let me sit back and think about this versus just react. And we've seen a few opportunities, like the private market, private equity markets closed up. Obviously, wallets got really tight. Banks shut down, not shut down, but they weren't lending money, and investors were kind of putting their stuff on the sideline. And so it was like, well, everything kind of dried up. So, what's the next best move? And, one of the things that I know about being in business, especially for 13 years, is you just got to outlast everybody. You got to be the last man, last woman standing in the ring and get through it. What they say, tough times last, sometimes don't last, tough people do. And therein lies the opportunity where like it's an internal opportunity to like check your toughness, check your resilience, check your persistence, check your dedication to your craft. If you're really about your hustle in 2020, you're going to make it out. If you weren't really about your hustle in 2020, you ain't going to make it out. Uncle Sam's going to knock on that door for that PPP loan.
And yeah, he's been knocking. Quite a few people ain't been answering, All right. Before we let you go out of here, man, I want you to look into that camera right there. Man, what advice do you have? You know what I'm saying? For what advice do you have maybe for young people or for people who want to get in your industry or just general entrepreneurship?
That's an interesting question. Well, first I want to shout out my cousin, who you know very well for the past 20 years, Lisa Gardner. She's my PR consultant. Love you, cousin. Love you, Cuddy. She looks out for me. Wish you were here. And I want to shout out my entire team real quick because folks don't really see the team. They just think it's just me, and it's not. I have an amazing groundswell of support. Dr. Timmy Foster, Vance the Maximizer, who's here in the building, London Hare, Morgan LeVance Powell, Atwanya Priester, Winston Victor Fitch. Man, I could keep going on and on. They're all a part of the squad. Antonio Reeves, that's my senior advisor. He's hilarious, by the way. But there's a lot of people behind me who support, man. And my family, shout out to everybody here in Seattle. My family still living in Southgate, LA. My sister, Simone, down in Orange County. That SWAT team experience was very interesting. We'll always remember that. Back to your question, though, because I got to get my shout outs out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's very interesting because everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own way. And there's no one right way to do it. So whatever I say, you probably already heard before, or whatever I say, it might not work for you. But from my personal lived experience, I'm only a master of my experience, is like, you just can't give up. Number one. And number two, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, whatever that means to you. If it's writing sticky notes in the mirror when you wake up, if it's talking to yourself throughout the day, whatever your routine is, you got to get a routine to convince yourself, because the mind is so powerful. There'd be no way when I was 13 years old living in Southgate, California, to ever dream of the fact to think that I have $125 million of developable opportunities in the city of Seattle, 600 units, and over a third of those are going to be affordable housing. There was no way I can comprehend that at 13 years old. I had to think through all of this process and think through all of the support that was there, and just shoot for the moon. So when people tell you no, don't listen to that. Don't pay attention to the naysayers. And there's going to be people who are going to come after you. They're going to want to take away everything you work for. But you know what's like the best, I guess the best piece of advice I could say is there's no substitute for hard work. If you put in the work, no one can take it away from you. Period. So put in the work, don't shortcut, take the stairs, don't take the elevator. Because if you take the stairs, guess what? When you're on that elevator and it breaks down, you'll know where all the exit routes are. So keep your hustle up, believe in yourself, let's build wealth. Let's do this together. And we here, and get excited because a Black person just bought up a whole block of the Central District. So when they say it's not Black, it is. It is. Stand up, Seattle. Stand up, 206.
There it is, right there. And when Jaebadiah is done with all his development, we see a rap career coming on.
Hilarious.
I will say this is that something we say over here all the time. It's not mine, but that hard work will always beat talent when talent refuses to work hard. And we just show up here every day, and man, we just work hard as we can. Don't quit. And commitment, what we see here at Converge is just every day showing up, good, bad, and ugly.
I got one more thing for you. Mr. Maximizer, could you pass me my phone real quick? You said something about for culture and a grant or something. I don't know what can you repeat that again? Like, just tell the folks what that is.
For culture, they got a grant going that's for cultural producers for $1,000 to $12,000 for people who they're in that space. Cultural producers kind of broad. I think they use that term intentionally, though, to be able to get as many people in there. But people who are impacted by COVID or were put off, and so they got a nice back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the grant was what, 1,000 to 12,000?
1,000 to 12,000.
GardnerGlobal is gonna go ahead and grant Converge Media $1,000 on the spot today.
Oh wow!
So for culture, step your game up because we doing this right now on the spot. You got Zelle, right? You got Zelle, right?
Yeah, we got Zelle.
You got Zelle, right?
we definitely got Zelle around here.
It's all about support, man. People don't understand. It's like economic support. Part of this wealth building process isn't just about showing up to meetings, and marching in the streets. We need all that, but there's a whole piece of economic support that we need to really push ourselves for. And so GardnerGlobal's mission is let's build wealth, man. And I know it's like $1,000 is not enough, man, but that's just what we can do right now, man.
Listen, our director Salman will tell you we've been waiting to buy some new lights over here. We've been getting them piecemeal a bit. So
it says you got Zelle.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send you a stack right now, just on the good faith that GardnerGlobal believes in what you guys are doing at Converge Media. And we love to see Black people making these power moves, and that's what we do. So if your phone's out, let me know.
Yeah, the phone is there. Believe me.
Blink. All right, you know what I'm saying. We sent.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying. Let's see. All done. $1,000 for culture. Let's go. Let's support Black Media Matters.
This is how they do it here on live TV.
On live TV.
Whoop, you heard the ping.
Oh, there we go. We real in the field. So step up. Everybody step your game up, man. Support Black business and entrepreneurs in Seattle. That's real.
Hey, Salman, we finna go get them lights now. Man, I'm sitting here totally speechless. And, I know someone clearly on behalf of my team here, thank you. But also, I want to say thank you on behalf, especially of our $5 family. Let me tell you, we got people who support Converge, and they got $5, sometimes $3. And it's almost like, it would be too disrespectful not to accept, because people are giving that's what they could give us.
Exactly.
It's fine. So I'm just letting you know right now, even more than this moment that we feel here in the studio, just let you know there's so many people that are watching that just saw right there our $5 family. You know what I'm saying? Real happy and real proud of what you just did. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all. Nothing but love, man. We here.
Thank you so much. Wow. It ain't too often I'm speechless here on the Morning Update show. But I am real quick, man. Tell everybody, how can they get up with you?
Man, I'm not hard to find. You can find me on all the social media platforms at Jaebadiah on Twitter, at Jaebadiah on Instagram, at Jaebadiah on Facebook. It's a pretty unique name, so there's no need to play any games around it. So feel free to reach out, DM me, follow back, and you know what I mean? Let's believe in each other, man. Believe in yourself.
There it is. And I'll say this real quick before I let Jaebadiah go. Lisa Gardner, That name might sound a little familiar, just a little bit. All those segments that we did in Spokane. So Jaebadiah's cousin is the head of city council communications in the city of Spokane. And when we went out and we did Converge on the road and we went to Spokane, that was Lisa who hooked it up. So whether on the west side of the state or the east side, the Gardners got us covered.
Man, it's the G's, man. G's up. It's the G's.
There it is. Jaebadiah Gardner, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate y'all.